platforms that I'm going to be broadcasting on. If you're watching or you're listening on Clubhouse, please raise your I don't know, on Clubhouse, raise your hand, or if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, just give me a hand up or something so I can know if you hear the music, so I know I have to turn it off because I don't want any copyright strikes. All right, we are live on Instagram, Clubhouse. Hello, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. Whoa. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to have a wonderful evening tonight. If you are someone who is interested in business or has a business and needs, to know the nitty-gritty of how to make that business foundationally sound, this show is for you. And I encourage you to share this out to your peoples. All right? Pin comment. Now, I know that there is... All right. So we're all good on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. I want to put a link at the top of the Clubhouse page. And I don't remember how to do that. But bear with me. So we're going to get started at 8:05 officially. Hello, Winnie the Ish and Level Up Printing 2020. We're going to get started at 8:05 officially. This is just kind of the time for people to come on in. So please get relaxed, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab pen and paper because we are going to learn a lot. We're also starting a new topic this month. We are starting on contracts. January we talked about, getting your picking your business entity. Last month we talked about EIN numbers and DUNS numbers and SAMIs. This week we're talking about contracts because these are the lifeblood of your business and they're going to keep you from having a whole lot of heartache, okay? So invite your friends if you know anyone who needs this info. Please, how do you put that thing? Okay, I think I found it. Okay. Pinned link. All right, ladies. I've done Clubhouse a few times, but I'm still Linktree. A bit of a novice in terms of the new the new details. But I just put a link at the top of the room on Clubhouse. That is my link tree. That's where you can find my digital products. That's where you can book a free 15-minute consultation with me. It's also where you can download my free Biz Launch cheat sheet. I'm going to talk about all that at 8:05. But we're just going to give people a couple more minutes to come on in and get comfy. I just got back from an incredible workout outside, even though I was cold. I did it. I'm very proud of myself. Hope you guys got some movement in. Spring's coming, y'all. So summer. Got to get them bodies right. Yes, but Clubhouse, I love seeing all of your lovely faces. I can't wait to hear your opinions on these stories that we have tonight, all right? And Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Hey, y'all, my faithful friends. We're going to have a good time tonight, all right? All right, let me turn this sound off so Facebook and Instagram don't tag my stuff and tell me I owe somebody money. All right. Is it 8:05 yet? No, we still got a few seconds. I can't wait to tell you guys about these stories. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have some good discussions. All right. Okay, so it's 8:05. We are getting started. Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If this is your first time hearing my voice on Clubhouse or seeing my face on any of the number of platforms I am broadcasting on, I am Natalie Pierre-Lewis. I'm the host of the show and I'm the owner and operator. Hey, Mark. I'm the owner and operator of NPL Consulting, a business formation firm. That means I help you get your business paperwork together. So things like making sure you have your articles of incorporation, getting your EIN numbers and DUNS numbers, making sure that you have contracts, which we're going to go into today, for clients and partners so you don't get left holding the bag. Brand protection strategies, meaning trademarks, copyrights, patents. Hey, Cal 30 Wilson, as well as hiring and training strategies so you don't get sued for discrimination. Okay, I help you do all of these things and more. If you're wondering why I'm qualified to help you, I'm very happy that you asked. I'm a licensed attorney. I have been one for 15 years and counting. I've started multiple businesses for myself and others, both online and offline. I've had many careers in the realms of entrepreneurship, the law, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I am very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everyone as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, but a lot of you have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to be successful, there are just some things that you need to know. There's no way around it. All right. So that is why I am here. And if you are in the startup phase of your business, or you've been in business for a while and you need to get your stuff together, or you've been in business for a long time and you still need to get your stuff together, I encourage you to get in contact with me. Where you can contact me, it's linktr.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. That is pinned at the top of the room on Clubhouse. It's the only link in my bio on Instagram. It's all over my page on Facebook and YouTube. There you can book a free 15-minute consultation with me if you are a first-time client. You can also download my free Biz Launch cheat sheet that will help you choose and start your dream business in 7 days or less. Okay. Linktree/NPL Consulting Firm is also where you can subscribe to my different social media platforms and where you can access my digital products. So I told you guys that we are going to be focusing on contracts this month. So if you go to linktree/NPL Consulting Firm, the very first link is a link to my contracts ebook, which it breaks down what a contract is, what you need to make a legit contract, what you need to look out for. And it's only $9.97. So, if that's something that you need help with, I would suggest that you pick that up. Okay. All right, but that's enough of the business side. Let's get to the reason why we are here tonight. All right. So this is how the show works. In case you are new, I pull stories from the news, stories that you guys send me, stories from anywhere that I find inspiration, and I take the stories that have lessons that we can learn as business owners, and we talk about them. Okay. So this is a time for you to get involved, ask your questions, give your comments, as long as they're respectful. Please know that my mama watched this show. So this is a time for you to get involved. It's just a lot more fun when I am getting the live feedback from you guys. So please don't be shy. And I will leave time for you guys to ask questions in the stories. And I'm going to be asking a lot of your opinions. So please, jump on in. My Clubhouse friends here, I would love to get your participation. All right. Okay, so now that we have done all of our introductions, let's get to the actual show, and we are starting off with our NPL Nugget. If you don't know what an NPL Nugget is, it is a quick business or legal concept that I teach in a couple of minutes. So this month we are focusing on contracts. All right. So contracts, my favorite phrase that I've ever said when it comes to contract is bet is not an enforceable contract. I learned the word bet when I moved to the DMV area and I heard everybody saying bet. I was like, what is that? I didn't know what it is, but it's just a way of saying, okay, we're going to do this, right? That's not an enforceable contract. A contract is a legal agreement to do something. And to have a legitimate contract, you need three essential parts, okay? To have a legitimate contract, you need offer, acceptance, and consideration. Now, what does that mean? An offer for a contract is like, I tell you, I will mow your lawn for $50. Hello, Moss Josh Interiors. I will mow your lawn for $50. That is the offer. I'm going to do a service and, in exchange for funds. Then you need acceptance, right? If I tell you I'm going to mow your lawn for $50, but I don't wait for you to tell me yes or no, and then I mow your lawn, not, show up at your door and say, run me my $50. There was no acceptance. I never said I wanted you to mow my lawn, so I don't owe you any money. So Derek said I will say bad. Hey, Derek. So you need offer, you need acceptance, and you need consideration. Now, what is consideration? More likely than not, in a contract, consideration is going to be money, but it can also be, goods or services, or it can be, or it can be the offer not to do something, right? So if you do this for me, I won't do this. So in order to have a legitimate contract, you need those three essential parts: offer, acceptance, and consideration. If you want to know the other essentials that you need to make sure that you have a legitimate contract, please go pick up the contracts ebook. There's also a contract checklist in there. So when you're reading over your agreements, you can make sure everything is right. Yeah, so that is our NPL nugget. We have defined the three essential parts of a contract. All right, so let's get to our stories now. I'm super excited. Okay, first story of the evening. This is just kind of a word to the wise, a little bit of a warning to all of you amazing brand owners out here. Now, we know that there has been an uptick in, the concern for intellectual property. The trademark office has been swamped with new applications. So I always tell my clients, it's best for you to protect your stuff early because there are a lot of people out here in the marketplace. And I think that sometimes we can get a little bit tunnel vision and forget that there are other countries out here. When you are thinking of contracts, you don't just have to worry about U.S. trademarks. If another country has a trademark for something that you want, you may not be able to get it. For example, we have seen that there is a large amount of people filing for trademarks in the metaverse, right? The metaverse isn't beholden to one single area. Like the metaverse is kind of infinite. So people are really rushing to get their brands, their trademarks in the metaverse. Not just in the United States, in China. In China, there have been 16,000 applications for metaverse trademarks. So if any of you out here are, hey, Corey Tate, if any of you out here are interested in, getting your trademarks for the metaverse, I would advise you to do that early because everybody is hopping on this, NFT metaverse. Look, I'm old. I'm not trying to, I'll probably have to learn at some point, but I'm holding out. But yeah, so understand that you are not just competing with people in your country or your town. You are competing with people around the world these days for trademarks. So please take your branding seriously. All right. Okay. Next story that we are talking about. If you are watching, okay. My question is, have any of you ever watched the CW series, the DC Comics series, The Flash? If you're on Clubhouse, raise a hand. If you are watching on any of the other platforms, give me a lightning bolt emoji, okay? If you've ever watched The Flash. So, when I was looking up the stories for this week's show, hello everybody coming in. When I was looking up the stories for this week's show, one of the stories had to do with DC Comics, okay? Is anybody a DC Comics fan? If you're a DC Comics fan, raise your hand on Clubhouse or, give me a DC in the comments. Derek Bailey said he's watched The Flash, right? And The Flash has a very particular logo. It is a yellow lightning bolt or gold or whatever color you want to call it, superimposed over a red circle, right? I'm going to give you, thank you, Mark Joseph. All right, I'm about to show y'all some drawings in a little bit, and I need you to, one, don't make fun of my lack of art skills. Clubhouse, if you want to follow along visually as well, please join me on Instagram and Facebook at NPL Consulting Firm, or NPL Consult on Facebook. But yes, so, but yeah, before we get into the pictures, DC Comics, like any big brand, they are very possessive over their trademarks, and they don't want anybody, filing high can rock in the city. They don't want anybody filing trademarks that could possibly be confused with DC Comics trademarks, right? So there was an article that I read that listed a bunch of oppositions that DC Comics has filed because they feel like these trademarks or these logos would interfere or be confused. Hey, Jarek, with the logos, with the DC Comics logo. So I'm gonna show you some pictures that I drew. If y'all laugh at me, I'm gonna cry. I'm just kidding. I don't care. I know I can't draw. Anyway, so for those of you who are watching, you may be able to see this red circle with the yellow lightning bolt. I wish you could see this, Clubhouse. I really draw terribly. Hi, Live Like G. But you can see the red circle with the yellow lightning bolt, right? So that is the Flash logo. Then you see this up here, Black Rock Coffee Bar, that has a black lightning bolt in between the words, right? Hey, well, DC Comics is opposing this coffee bar's trademark application. They feel like the black lightning bolt and the gold lightning bolt, they're so similar that they might be confused with a DC Comics product. They're afraid that this coffee bar that is located in Portland, that is located in Portland, Oregon, it would possibly be confused as affiliated with DC Comics or their products. So I want to ask you guys, as a savvy audience, as an audience that has common sense, do you think anybody would confuse this black logo with the DC Comics Flash logo? Does anybody think that there would be a mistake? I'm gonna hold it up here. Don't laugh at my art. Don't laugh at my drawing, okay? I work with words, not shapes. Do any of you feel like Derek Bailey said it's not bad? I don't think that this is something that is so terrible that DC absolutely should have filed this. I think that this is them kind of being overzealous, plus they have the money to kind of complain a little bit more than a mom and pop organization would. But this isn't the only one. Live Like G said no. They have also opposed a trademark for something called Bathmobiles. They have the Batmobile for Batman. A company tried to trademark the word Bathmobiles for toy cars that you can use in the tub. So what do you think about that? Did DC Comics, should they have opposed this trademark for Bathmobiles, for toys that you keep in the tub? Gee, Jarek, y'all the parents out here, Jumi's gonna be wanting a toy for the tub. Do you think that Bathmobiles is something that could be confused with the DC Comics Batmobile? The crazy thing, DC has a character called Black Lightning. Oh, shoot. Yeah, they do. I've totally forgot about that. But yeah, Clubhouse, what do you, well, you can't see the pictures. I'm sorry. But with Bathmobiles, do you think that Bathmobiles, B-A-T-H, mobiles, which is toy cars, that you can use in the tub, could that name possibly be confused with Batmobile, the car that Batman drives? Live Like G said no. Okay. All right, so I do think that DC is being a little bit overzealous here, but this is just to show you, when you guys are out here, if you're using other people's brands, particularly large brands, they like to drop the hammer, okay? They don't want anybody even remotely approaching their brands, so you really want to be careful. Now, some of them, they are a little heavy-handed, like Monster Energy Drink. They are notorious for filing, if you even think of the letter M, they will file a trademark infringement suit against you, okay? G said they're being real petty. Yeah, I think they're being real petty because they have the money to be petty. Because if you're a smaller business, you don't have time to be filing oppositions all over the place, okay? Because oppositions are not cheap, which brings me to our next story, okay? So, we talk a lot about filing oppositions, companies filing oppositions to trademark applications, right? Do any of you guys know how much it costs to file an opposition? Because it is not free. Does anyone know how much it costs to file an opposition? Now, what I mean by opposition is that when someone files a trademark, when it's given to an examining attorney, they have to publish it and allow people to if they think that it shouldn't be registered, say, I oppose this trademark application and here's why. All right. So how much do you think it costs to file an opposition, a trademark application opposition? Any ideas? I'm gonna give you a hint. It ain't that cheap. So if you want to file an opposition, you better be really, really sure, because the USPTO does not issue refunds, okay? Filing an opposition will cost you a cool $600, okay? No, Stephanie, not that high. It's $600, okay? Now, the opposition, it has to be filed within a 30-day window. And you can pretty much oppose it based on whatever you think is the problem. Derek, 16,000, come on. Anyway, but yes, in opposition, it's expensive, and there is a very limited time frame that you can file it. But there is a lower cost option for you if the change is a little strange, your money's a little funny, but you know that somebody is wrong out here and trying to take your brand. There is something that you can file which is called a letter of protest, okay? A letter of protest, it costs you $50. It can be filed anytime before a trademark is published or accepted. So anytime in the process of the trademark application being submitted, you can submit a letter of protest, and it only costs you $50. Derek Bailey said you have to make sure they really want to oppose something. You do. They don't want people filing oppositions willy-nilly. But if you want to file a letter of protest, you absolutely can. The problem is letters of protest. It's very limited in scope why you can file a letter of protest. Like, it has to be like some real incontrovertible evidence, right? Hold on, I missed some comments. Jarek said absolutely no confusion, but they're biting off the hype. True. Okay. Hey, Roxanne Mill. All right. So back to our letter of protest. Thank you, Jarek. So letters of protest. Who do you think uses letters of protest the most? It might surprise you. Who do you think uses letters of protest the most? Do you think smaller businesses or larger businesses use letters of protest the most? Clubhouse, if you want to weigh in on this, do you think that larger companies or smaller companies use letters of protest the most when it comes to trademark infringement? What y'all think? I'm gonna give you. What about Monster? Stephanie said larger. Stephanie, you are. Live Like G said larger. They save every dime. Rox Mill said larger. You guys are very right, but G, not for that reason. Larger companies will often file letters of protest because they're more under the radar. They're not going to be reported like that. As opposed to an opposition will go, on the official record of the acceptance track for the examination, the examination process. So the letter of protest is usually used by these large companies because they don't want their name out there, especially if they're going after a smaller company, because they don't want it to look like it's a bullying situation. So a lot of these big companies will use a letter of protest to, subtly oppose a company's trademark application if they don't want to go the full opposition route. Okay, so that was just a little a little tidbit that I wanted to share with you guys today. If you ever feel like in your business career, yes, no face, no case, live like G. If you ever feel like in your career, there is a, somebody is out here trying to jack your brand, but you don't have the $600 to file the opposition, you can go for a letter of protest. Now, the thing with the letter of protest is it may not make it to the examining attorney. Before the letter of protest even gets to the examining attorney, who is the person that is assigned to the trademark application, it is reviewed by someone else, and they kind of screen it to see, hey, Miss Dang, Miss Bud Life, hey, 76 Grim K. They screen it to see if it's worth sending to the examining attorney. It's like, what's that? American Idol, when they have the auditions, there's the ones that they show you on the TV, but then there's the ones that's before where they're trying to screen people. So it's the same thing with the USPTO and the letter of protest. There's a screening process to see if it even makes it to the examining attorney. So while it is cheaper, you are not guaranteed that it's going to get in front of the face of the examining attorney, okay? But yeah, outside of an opposition, if you need another option for protesting a trademark application, your option is a letter of protest for $50, okay? Hey, all right. So we're going to take a little bit of a break and reset. For those of you who may have just come in, you are watching NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you are in the startup phase of your business and you are looking for some legal guidance, I am your girl. I want to, hi, coping with HLM. I want to help y'all get on the right track so you can get your paperwork in order. Why do you need your paperwork in order? Because if you want to do things like build business credit, get your products into big box stores, become a federal contractor, be able to get business grants, business loans, things like that, all of that means that if you want any of that, your business has to have the paperwork in order, okay? You can't just show up with your IG page and a Cash App account and think that you're going to get all of the benefits of a business without actually doing the groundwork, okay? So link up with me, linktree.ee/NPL Consulting Firm. Let's get this work, okay? All right, next story we are talking about this evening. Anybody watching or listening? Was anybody ever a wrestling fan? Or does anybody currently watch? If you've ever watched wrestling, just give me a W in the comments. If you've ever watched wrestling, okay? While you guys let me know that, if you've watched wrestling on Clubhouse, just raise your hand. If you've ever watched wrestling, you know that there's always like team names. And, they've got nicknames. Like when I was growing up, there was like Rikishi. There was Ultimate Warrior. There was Macho Man Randy Savage. All these people, right? But, time goes on and new, thank you, Derek. New players, Hulk Hogan, thank you, 76 Grim K. New players come in. And there is a group, they call themselves... they're called FTR. I don't know what FTR stands for, but they used to be called the Revival, right? And they performed or competed in the WWE. Now, this pair, it was two guys. Now, they were with the WWE for a while, but they weren't happy. They wanted out of their contracts, right? So, WWE said, all right, you don't want to work with us? Fine. We'll let you out of your contract, but you have to give us the rights to all of the trademarks that you have filed. So this pair, they had, created their own trademarks for their team. They had, all their ducks in a row. They had spent about $20,000 securing their trademarks. And the WWE said, well, if you want to go, run us those trademarks and you can go. What do you think those gentlemen did? Do you think they left their intellectual property, or do you think they stayed and are currently, working it out with the WWE? What do you guys think? What y'all think? 76 Grimke said, I hope they said go to monkey. Derek Bailey said McMahon is a bully. Roxamil said stayed. 76 Grimke, I'm not sure what you were saying. Took an L. Yes, Miss Dankness Bud Life, they absolutely took the L. They were so unhappy. Oh, Fear the Revolt, thank you. They were so unhappy with their contract at WWE. They were like, look, we spent all these money on these trademarks, but I don't mess with you, dude. I'm just gonna go. Take the trademarks. I'm out of here. All right. Do you think that was a smart idea? Do you think that is your piece worth your trademarks? Was that a smart move by FTR? Fear the Revolt. Thank you so much for that, Derek Bailey. Derek said no one comes out alive against the WWE. Ooh, all right. So what do you think? Do you think that they should have taken that L, or should they have tried to work it out? They spent like $20,000 on their trademarks. What do y'all think? What do you think? Hey, what do you think? What do you guys think? Yes, the WWE is wrestling. He does that to everyone. 76 Grimcray said they should have tried to work it out. Okay. I mean, apparently, look, sometimes your piece is worth more than the money. So we don't know what was happening behind closed doors, but it was enough for them to, leave their intellectual property on the table. Think about how much revenue you could generate from intellectual property, and they were ready to leave that on the table. So the trade-off was that they got out of their WWE contracts. They didn't want to perform in the WWE anymore. They wanted out of their contracts. Okay. All right. So Derek said most people just walk away. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to Fear the Revolt. I hope, they get what they want. All right. Okay. Next story of the evening. If you know who LaMelo Ball is, I didn't say if you were a fan. If you know who LaMelo Ball is, give me a basketball emoji. If you know who LaMelo Ball is, give me a basketball emoji. Okay. For those of you who may not know, LaMelo Ball, he is one of three brothers who they had like a reality show with their dad and their mom. And, the dad basically has trained them all their lives to be in the NBA. Thank you, Stephanie Walker. Right? So LaMelo comes from a basketball family. Thank you, 76 Grimke. And he plays for the Charlotte Hornets, I believe. Thank you for all of the basketballs. I believe he plays for the Charlotte Hornets. Now LaMelo is very young. I don't know if he's 21 yet, but he is another person who is securing his territory in the metaverse. Now, I've told you guys there are tons of people, filing for trademarks in the metaverse, and just like a lot of people, LaMelo has filed for, virtual goods, NFTs. Thank you, Derek Bailey. He may be the best of the brothers. Okay. But not only this, LaMelo is filing trademarks for virtual gaming competitions, like virtual basketball courts, to the point that LaMelo is very into the gaming world. He actually hosted a contest online where gamers were competing for a $20,000 prize. So he is expanding his empire, expanding his intellectual property into the metaverse. With the virtual basketball courts, I'm assuming that these are going to be virtual games that you play online. But yeah, LaMelo Ball, these young people, they're out here taking the world by storm. So good for him. I hope he makes lots of money. Okay. All right. Did we cover these? Yes. All right. Before we move on to our next stories, hey, Brandon, I just want to do a quick reset. For those of you who may have come in, you are watching NPL Legal Dish. This is my Monday broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. If you're in the startup phase of your business and you're looking for legal guidance, I'm your girl. If you need contracts to secure the bag with your clients and business partners, I encourage you to go to linktr.ee/nplconsultingfirm. That first link will take you to my contracts ebook. It is only $9.97, and it will give you all of the essentials to make sure that your contracts are ironclad. Okay? All right. Moving on. So y'all know how the Grand Cheeto got banned from all social media, right? Twitter said we don't want you. Facebook said go away. YouTube was like, we don't know her. He even got banned from Pinterest. How do you get banned from Pinterest, right? But we all know, I'm not even going to call him 45 no more. Donald Trump, we all know that he was banned from pretty much every social media platform. And in response to that, he and his, minions, decided to develop their own social media app. Does anybody know the name of that app? Does anybody know the name of the social media app that Donald Trump recently came out with? Yes, Stephanie. Anybody know the name? Anybody know the name? Hey. Derek Bailey said he forgets. Okay. Well, the name of that social media app is called Truth Social. 76 Green said clouds. It's called Truth Social, right? So the app, I think like people paid for it, but it didn't. Is it turned? No, it's Truth Social. IMF Brendan. So you would think that as much as this man claims to be an amazing businessman and, has great business acumen, that his team would at least surround himself with a team that knows what they're doing. Now, while they secured the trademarks for Truth Social in the United States, or it's in the process of being accepted, they forgot to check around the world. Apparently, there in Sweden and the European Union, there are trademarks for Truth Social. One of them, the Swedish one, was filed 1 week after Trump made his app announcement. The other one was filed literally like last week, okay? So these people basically heard Trump was coming out with something and filed a trademark for his app in their country. And they won because his people did not do the work to secure those names before they let it out. So if Truth Social ever tries to go across the pond, they're pretty much short because you've got two different countries that already have trademarks for the Truth Social app. Okay, so this is just a word to the wise. Look, if you got a product out there, make sure you secure the brand. Don't be like him. Hello, R. Dangerfield. I'm assuming you're a Rodney Dangerfield fan. I get no respect. Okay. So, good luck, Truth Social. Derek Bailey says it sounds like Trump. Yes, it does sound like Trump University. Ooh. Okay. Instagram, we may shut down. My battery just gave me a warning. If we do, please join me on Facebook, YouTube, or Clubhouse, okay? All right. So let's move through this real quickly. Next story that we are talking about. So I don't know if you guys remember, I've talked about this story a few times. Tiffany sued Costco a couple of years ago because Costco was selling rings, diamond rings that they were calling Tiffany rings. And you know, the Tiffany's brand, it's very high end, it's very respected, all of that. And Tiffany's eventually had lost that lawsuit. But it recently came out that the judge who was presiding in that case of Tiffany's versus Costco, his wife owned stock in Costco. Now remember, Costco won that verdict, right? So they didn't have to pay Tiffany any money. But the judge who made the ruling, his wife owned stock in the company. So he should have removed himself and, chosen another judge. Do you think that they should reopen this case? Do you think that the Costco versus Tiffany case should be reopened? What do you guys think? Clubhouse, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, what do you think? Do you think that because the judge in the original Tiffany's versus Costco case, because his wife owned stock in Costco and he did not recuse himself, should this case be opened up again? What do you think? Stephanie said yes, even though they're both making buku money. Okay, so Stephanie thinks that they should reopen the case. All right, anybody agree with Stephanie? Anybody disagree? Do you think it's a big deal that his wife owns stock in Costco? Now, we don't know how much stock she owned. They didn't say that she was like an heir to the Costco fortune. So, it could be a few shares. It could be hundreds. What do y'all think? Brandon said he doesn't know how he feels about this. I don't know either. They don't plan on reopening the case, but I just don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's kind of icky. Okay? All right. Next story we are talking about that inspired the title for today's show. Mad or Not, Run Me My Money. Okay? Now, if you know who Jay-Z is, give me a diamond emoji if you're watching. And if you know who Jay-Z is and you're listening, just give me a quick hand raise. I'm not going to bring you up on stage. But if you know who Jay-Z is, give me the diamond emoji or just raise your hand on Clubhouse. We all know who Jay-Z is. He is Beyonce's husband. All right. Thank you, Brandon. But, aside from, the great honor of being Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z is also an artist in his own right. And because of his artistry, he, gets a lot of endorsement deals. Now, a while ago, I want to say we talked about this. A few years ago, 2015, Jay-Z was sued. Stephanie Walker said, okay, somebody owe me money. Yes. So in 2015, Jay-Z entered a partnership with a company called Parlux, okay? And they developed a cologne that based on Jay-Z. They called it Gold Jay-Z cologne, okay? At a certain point in about July 2015, the relationship between Jay-Z and the perfume company Parlux, it went sour. The perfume wasn't selling well. I actually asked you guys in the stories if you had ever heard of this perfume. Apparently, cologne. Nobody's ever heard of it. But the cologne wasn't doing well, and Parlux, they tried to sue Jay-Z for $67 million, claiming that he did not promote the cologne enough. He didn't promote it well, and that's why it wasn't doing well. They ended up losing that that lawsuit against Jay-Z. And not only that, Jay-Z, hello, Celine83, Jay-Z has actually, or the court has ordered Parlux to pay Jay-Z $4.7 million. Why? Because when their relationship soured, so Jay-Z and Parlux, they fell out around like July 2015, right? But Parlux was like, we don't mess with Jay-Z no more, but we still gonna sell this perfume. So they kept selling the perfume even though they had this bad blood with Jay-Z and they weren't paying him his royalties. So Jay-Z sued Parlux for his royalties for anything that was sold after, they're falling out. This is why contracts are important. Just because you mad at me, just because you don't want to, doesn't mean that you get out of your contractual obligations. This is why contracts are written down so people know what is accepted of them, because people's feelings change, they will lie, but if you have it on paper, it says what's supposed to happen. So not only did Parlux not get $67 million from Jay-Z, they owe him about $5 million, okay? And Jay-Z, basically when the case was being tried, he said, look, I promoted this, is the problems were on your end. I can't do this by myself. So, Jay-Z's going to, I don't know, that $4.7 million, I'm sure Jay-Z will just put it in Blue's purse or Sir and Rumi's, bags or whatever. But this is just to say, contracts are important because if something happens between you and, the person you're contracted with, you want to make sure that you can still get your stuff. If you don't have your contracts written down, or if you don't have a contract, period, if that person's feelings change, you can just run the other way. And look, I have a colleague of mine who literally had a business that they ran for 3 years with their partner. No paperwork in their name, no contracts with their partner. The relationship went south and the partner locked them out of their business. They had to go to court to get what they deserved from the business that they had helped build up from the ground. So my word of the wise to you, make sure that you have your contracts in order, okay? All right. And I think we're going to end it there in terms of the stories for tonight. What I want to do is give you guys a chance to, ask any questions. If you have questions on contracts, the NPL nugget that we talked about earlier, the 3 essential parts of the contract, you can ask about that. You can ask about business formation, trademarks, copyrights, getting your articles of incorporation. If you have questions about that or any of the stories that we covered tonight, we talked about a lot. We talked about China. We talked about DC Comics. We talked about the opposition letter versus a letter of protest. We talked about the wrestling guys leaving their trademarks, LaMelo Ball trademarking in the metaverse, Truth Social forgetting to trademark in Europe, Costco versus Tiffany's, and we talked about Jay-Z winning $5 million from the perfume. Stephanie said, I ain't mad. Wish I had a contract. Right. But now is your time to ask your questions, or if you have questions about your business, I do urge you to be kind of general. You don't want to give too much specifics, but if y'all have some questions, y'all got me. If you're on Clubhouse, please feel free to raise your hand and I will definitely answer your questions. Any thoughts? Or if you just want to give your thoughts, it doesn't have to be a question. If you have commentary on a story or if you have something to add, feel free. This is a collaborative platform. Hello, Erica5252. All right. So I'm going to give y'all maybe 30 more seconds to get your questions in. If not, then, we can wrap up for the evening. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today, for giving me so much energy, for making this so enjoyable. If you missed any part of the show, the replays will be up very shortly, so you can catch it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Yeah, no, it's not saving on Clubhouse. But yeah, you can watch it on any of those platforms. We'll be back next week. What the heck? We'll be back next week with more stories. And in the meantime, if you find something that you want me to talk about on the show, please send it to me. I love it when you send me stories. And I usually respond right away. Thank you, 76 Grim Cat. What 76 Grim Cat? You supposed to be the unofficial official writing staff for the show. Where you been at, boo? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But y'all, 76 Grim Cat would be in my inbox just dropping stories like every day. She's dope. All right. So this is where I'm gonna leave you guys. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. If you have any questions, be sure to book your one-on-one sessions with me. Take care of yourself, and I will talk to you later. Bye. All right.